Hello everyone, my name is Orlando Arnosa. I am part of the local scoop team, and this is the feature presentation for user story 2796, search local scoop by city, neighborhood, or address. The contact information can be found on screen. Again, I am the developer Orlando Arnosa, and the product owner is Dr. Masood Sajjadi. Moving over to Mingle to get more information on this story. The description is, as a user, I would like to search the local scoop page by city, neighborhood, or address so that I can quickly find information about the area I am interested in. The acceptance criteria is the user should be able to type a city, an address, or zip code in a search bar in the local scoop page. The user should be redirected on the map to the location input in the search bar. And finally, the user should see a marker on the map marking the location that was searched for. Some of the tasks associated with this user story were to utilize the Google Places API for the search autocomplete feature. Since we are using this API, we also had to register and secure the API key. On top of that, we had to input a new search bar element on the page, and then modify the page layout to accommodate for this new search bar. So now for a demonstration of the features that were implemented. I have running here the BreazeHome 5.0 project on localhost. You can navigate to the local scoop page by clicking on this link at the top of the page. And once selecting the link, you'll be presented with the local scoop page. So a couple of changes have been made. The local scoop now has a search bar, it has a new improved nav bar. You can click on amenities, for example. You'll have a drop-down selection, hazards. There's still work to be done on these, and it will be finalized soon. However, you do have the title and a new search bar. The map is centered in the center of the United States, and the search bar, when you select any location, it will take you there. So for example, we are utilizing Google Maps API, so when I type in an address, for example Miami, you are presented with a drop-down menu, and it has locations for any place you can think of. Over hundreds of thousands of locations registered for Google will appear on this dropdown. So we can go to Miami. You can see options for Miami International Mall, Miami Springs, Miami-Dade College Kendall Campus, even libraries. You can search for anything. So we can select on Miami. It will return the latitude and longitude coordinates and place a map marker on that location. So for this instance, we are in Miami. You can zoom into the location, you can move around, the marker would stay here, zoom out. You can also search for a zip code. So let's say I type in the zip code. Here's the area where the zip code is established. We can also search for an address. So let's say just put in any address, and you can go here. Just to verify, we put 16471 Southwest 47th Terrace. We are at 47th Terrace right here, and this will be 164. You can also search by the name of a place. So like I said, it was Miami International Mall. We can find that. It would appear right here. We can also search for, let's say Florida International University. There's also different ways you could type it. So instead of putting Florida International University, you could put FIU, and it will take you there. We can also search for places outside of Miami. The scope of the search bar goes anywhere. So I could go to maybe Atlanta, Georgia, and it will fix a point there in Atlanta, Georgia. We can also go to even London if we wanted. If we wanted to search over there, and we could possibly find information in an area by London. So moving over to the code to see how everything was made possible, several changes had to be made to the previous iteration of how the map was implemented on the page. So the previous implementation did it in a pure JavaScript way, so it wasn't done within the Angular controller. This wasn't good because it would not allow for a lot of the functionality for Angular to run on the page. So to fix this, I had to install a library called the Angularjs Google Maps library, and this was done through Bower, and it is the ng map that's shown right here. I also moved the Google Maps API, so it is in the index.html, so it has site-wide access to the API key, and I do not have to make multiple calls within the controller. The ng map allows for a ng map tag to be called, which will spawn the map within the local scoop page, as you can see right here. This is all it takes to create the map, along with the API key. For the search bar element, the entire page was redone in Bootstrap, so we could use the container row column structure as in the Bootstrap grid. The search bar is created using a input tag, and it makes a call to this new AngularJS Google Maps library with two calls, one to a places autocomplete, which provides the functionality to the input form, along with a onPlacesChanged function, which is linked to the function written in the local scoop.js file. So the function is called placeChanged. This will make a call over here to this controller. The controller sets up a map with the options provided in this variable options here. So it sets the center in the center of the United States with a zoom to show the entire area. And here's just like a couple of the style options that we provided. We pass in these options into the setOptions function to set the options. And finally, the function called for the changing places is here. So the scope binds the local scoop.html to the JavaScript file, and the place is the getPlace function, so it gets the latitude and longitude of the area searched for. It logs these coordinates within the console. Then it sets the center in the scope place geometry location, which is the location that was searched for. Sets the zoom to 15, which would make it much closer so you can see the streets and locations nearby. Along with that, it sets the position of a marker that was previously created on that same location. So to finalize this feature presentation and go through the acceptance criteria to make sure everything was implemented properly, the user should be able to type a city, an address, or zip code in a search bar in the local scoop page. So here's a search bar. You could type in a city, let's say Miami. You can also type in a zip code, and you can type in an address, and you'll be prompted with options for all of this. The user should be redirected on the map to the location input in the search bar. So if I type in this address, I could go here, and it will prompt me with the exact location of the the address provided. And finally, the user should see a marker on the map marking the location that was searched for. The place searched for is right here, placed shown with this marker. So with all the features implemented and the acceptance criteria met, I leave you with my contact information. Again, my name is Arnosa. I was the developer for this feature, and the product owner is Dr. Masood Sajjani. All of our contact information can be found here, and I'd like to thank you all for watching.